Welcome to the long-awaited segment of the State of the Nation program on KTN. We're privileged to have, for the first time ever, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. Welcome, Mr. President.
Thank you for having me.
I'm your host, Jacqueline Wangui. So today we want to focus on the developmental issues that have come up recently within your administration. So the first question that we'd like to ask, Mr. President, is you've been in administration for 2 years. The Jubilee government has been in governance for 2 years. So what developments can be accredited to your government so far?
Okay, thank you for that good question. The Jubilee government is doing a lot of developmental projects, and some of these projects which we started 2 years ago include the standard gauge railway, which ran from the coastal region to Uganda and other East African countries. And as a government, we believe by having this standard gauge railway, it will open business opportunities to our citizens, including our brothers in the neighboring countries. So when the railway will be done, I think in terms of economic development, our people will have something to do. Again, we have Huduma centers, which I started immediately. We formed the government, and right now getting a national ID is not as tedious as it used to be. You only need 1 or 2 weeks and you have your national ID. And again, it has helped our people in such that they don't need to take much time and looking for some basic services which they get at our Huduma center. Another issue which the government is tackling at the moment is the issue of corruption. I've said it several times that corruption is a major challenge to our government, but at the moment we are doing what we can to ensure that we rid this menace called corruption.
Alright, so last week we celebrated the World Press Freedom Day, and your government said that the state would uphold media freedom. Does this statement still stand, Mr. President?
The Jubilee government supports freedom of media, and we've said this over and over again. But as a media personality, freedom comes with responsibility. So you also have to conduct yourself in the most sensible way, so that you don't hurt. A good example which I've given in the recent past is the photo of a woman who was brutally injured during the Westgate attack, and you will see the backlash which came even from the public. So as a media or as a media personality, you need to conduct yourself with a lot of sensitivity, so that you don't hurt people who have already been who are in some pain, so that you don't cause more pain to them.
Well, we acknowledge that some mistakes have been made by the media with regards to what we choose to air, or for example that unfortunate incident that you just pointed out. Don't you think that the hand of the government has been a little bit heavy as compared to how it was in the Kibaki regime? Because the Kibaki regime also had some very serious issues to deal with, and for example the post-election violence. But yet in this government, that's where we've seen the government trying to guard the media much more than they did in the Kibaki government. And even when you look at in the international indexes that have been released during your regime, the freedom of the media has really gone down as compared to before you took governance. What do you have to say about that, Mr. President?
The perception that the Jubilee government is unfriendly to media is false. And when you start comparing Kibaki's regime and the current regime, then things have changed. At the moment, the country is grappling with the issue of terror attacks. So you cannot compare the past or during Kibaki's regime and this time. And as I've mentioned before, the country that at the moment is fighting the militia, the Al-Shabaab. So as a media personality, all of us belong to Kenya. So we have to find ways of defeating our enemies. We cannot glorify Al-Shabaab whenever they attack our country. And that's why we say as a government, the media must be very responsible in their reporting. And another issue, you have to report facts. you cannot report on speculation and expect the government to keep quiet. Our people need relevant information, and that's what we demand of the media. You also have to uphold professionalism. You cannot just report on any issue which is not adding value to our citizens. So the perception being propagated by people within the media circle that the Jubilee government is unfriendly is false.
No, let me take you back to, you said that the Jubilee government is not unfriendly, but let me take you back to a statement that you made yesterday in the Met where you said that newspapers are only good for wrapping meat. What exactly did you mean by that, Mr. President?
It's true I said that that the newspaper is meant for, but that statement was made in reference to recent reports in the print media. You are talking of non-issues, personal issues between political leaders, which adds no value to the lives of Kenyans.
Are you saying that the media should not report on the negative interactions that the politicians have?
We don't want the media to be a PR firm for the government, but what we are saying as government is that you have to report, have a balanced report, and also make sure whatever you report are factual and not a mere speculation. The recent reports, some of them are mere speculation.
Mr.
That one
President,
is misleading the country and
Mr. President,
causing a lot of distraction.
Mr. President, you cannot say that they are mere speculation when these government officers, people who are always in the public arena, have been recorded through electronic media, trading accusations to each other, and one of them is a very high rank. Both of them are very high ranking in the media. And for example, the deputy president, whenever he makes a statement, whatever he says, the public will take it as the official position of the government. So as the media, we have that mandate to report whatever they say, whether it's positive or negative. So are you suggesting that we should maybe leave out some things from the public or hide something
I
from the
totally
public?
don't have idea whether the two have been exchanging, the two you claim to be.
No, they have been on camera, Mr.
If it is true
President.
that they've been trading accusation, then they are doing so at their personal level,
But
not as
the public
officials.
personas who have been elected by the common Mwananchi.
I think that question is not. I should not answer that question. So I think we have better questions to answer such, because I'll not
Which
delve into personal issues. If they have personal issues, then that is there. How is that of national importance to our people? If you keep on reporting the same story that people are having
Mr.
political
President,
wrangles
Mr.
day in,
President,
day out, how is
Mr.
it helping
President,
our people?
it is of national importance because these are elected officials that have been elected by the public, by the common Mwananchi. So whatever they do in public, we have to show it to the public for them to decide as they're going to elect these officials the next time an election comes around. We need to know the public needs to know what their leaders are up to. So I think, Mr. President, you would agree that we have to report whether it's negative or it's positive. And that's when we report it. Do you think that your statement was fair to the media?
My statement, and I've just said it here, that I made the statement in reference to current events in our media, specifically the print media, where you publish speculations without finding out whether there is truth in it. And again, when the issue of political wrangles between the two points, just the two leaders you mentioned, I think I'm not better placed to answer such a question. I hold no brief for anyone. So those individuals are better placed to respond to such questions, because I have no idea that the claims we are saying are true.
All right, they have the two leaders. Let's move on to something else. The two leaders that we're talking about have been arguing or maybe talking about the current Pesa Mashinani program. What is your stand on that, Mr. President?
The Jubilee government, it's very clear, and I think everybody outside there knows this, that the Jubilee government is committed in ensuring that the devolution succeeds. And that's why we allocate a total of 43% of our national budget to the county governments. So we are committed, and the other day we are in Kisumu to celebrate the conference, the devolution conference, which was in Kisumu. So that's a clear indication that the Jubilee government is committed in ensuring that we see that the devolution succeeds. The issue here, we want to empower our people. So if it is through devolution that our people will get empowered, then we have to do that. But you cannot go to a matanga and say that you need more money for the county government. We have laid out channels or ways to be followed. So if somebody thinks that the allocation are not enough, then they have the freedom. They can come to talk. We can have talks and see what we need to add as the national government to the county government. But you cannot go and have some political rallies and start demanding for more money. Yeah, so if you meet such leaders who attend funerals and start demanding for more money, you need to tell them that we have offices, let them come, we'll have a talk, and then we'll see way forward.
Alright. So we are talking about the pesa mashinani being good for the people, and that's the common mwananchi. And
I'm not the pesa mashinani. Okay, I have no idea about what the governors are planning to do with the so-called pesa mashinani. But as the Jubilee government, we are committed in ensuring that that the evolution succeeds, and that's why we have that allocation I've just said. But if the governors want more money, then they know what to do. They don't need to have rallies all over the country. Why are they creating a political mood, and we still have 3 more years before we have our next election? So they should follow the right procedure. If they need more money, we have the Senate, we have the National Assembly. Let them bring the bill to the National Assembly and it should be discussed. So if there is a need to have more money to the county government, then I think we have no issue with more money being taken to the national government, but they have to account for what they've been given.
Alright.
So let them to stop going around telling about pesa mashinani. Let them account for what they've been allocated first. Then if there is need for more money, then they know what to do.
okay, let me just take you back to your swearing in. When you were sworn in, you recognized a certain newspaper vendor who has been selling newspapers to you for 20 years. So what do you think it makes the common mwananchi feel to hear you making such statements, such as the one you made on Sunday in Bomet? What do you think it makes the common mwananchi, such as that newspaper vendor who has been reading and selling to you newspapers for 20 years, when he hears that all they're good for is wrapping newspapers and that the media has been writing rubbish?
We need content in our newspapers. And when I said whatever we see in the media is upuzi, it was in the context, it was in reference to the current happenings in Bomet. Whatever you write, and you could see the people of Bomet were saying, whatever you've been writing ni uongo. So you need to get your facts right and also provide what is relevant to our nation. You cannot keep on writing, filling of course with political bickering. How is it helping our country? And we need the media, because it's important for our developments. We need to communicate both positive and negative stories about our country. But because we are good citizens, we need to portray our country as a good place. We cannot keep on writing stories which are like glorifying the Al-Shabaab whenever they attack our
But
country.
Mr.
We need
Mr.
tourists
President,
to come to our country to bring money.
yes, Mr. President, I agree with you on that, but surely you agree with us that the media is not mandated to report only on the positive. Our mandate is to report news. So when it happens, whether it's positive or negative, it's our duty and our responsibility to deliver that to the public. So you can't expect us to filter our news, to focus only on the positive, Mr. President.
When it comes to terrorism, terrorism is a global issue at the moment, including the Britain. They keep on issuing travel advisory to our country. And even them, they have the same problem. So as Kenya and as Kenyans, we need to find ways of fighting terrorism in our country. So we cannot keep on reporting on insecurity in our country even when there is no insecurity. We are scaring tourism from coming to our country. And we have people, for example, in the coastal region, we have people who depend on tourism for a living. We have hoteliers in that place, we have tour guides and the rest. So if we keep on portraying our countries as an insecure country, then where are we headed to?
All right.
We need each other, and the media must work hand in hand with the government to ensure that our country develops.
To ensure that we report fairly?
No, we are not saying that the media should be a peer tool for the government, but you must have balanced reports and ensure they are factual. Don't just report lies.
I think, Mr. President, considering that you also contribute very regularly to this newspaper, to the Standard newspaper, I think when you say that just reporting lies, what do you have to say about your own contributions?
I do contribute to almost all the local papers, and if I challenge you to go and grab any copy where I did a piece and look at the kind of material which I present for publication. At the moment, the government, we are grappling with the issue of insecurity. So we need to sensitize our people about insecurity and how we can make our place safer. We need the community, the issue of community policing, and currently we have the issue of Nyumba Kumi initiative. So people need to embrace this so that we have a better place. We don't have any other county. This is our county, and we have to better our county.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This has been a very engaging conversation, and we certainly look forward to having more of these enlightening discussions very soon. Thank you so much.
Karibu chai.
Asante sana. I thought you'd never ask. Thank you, Mr. President. So I've been your host, Jacqueline Wangui, on behalf of my cameraman, Muremi Mwangi, my producer, Jeff Kirui, and my sound technician, Trix Ngado. Thank you for being with us. We shall see you